Hey, you. Get on the stick.
Yo, bring it.
Choose your fighter.
Yeah.
How's it going, lads?
Fight.
Bang, bang, bang.
Flawless victory.
Side Quest Arcade.
Unos, dos, tres, cuatro, four. 4 people in here. What podcast has 4 people in it? Ours never does. Welcome to Side Quest Arcade. I'm your host, Mad Matt. And with me are my IRL friends. Back at it again in the podcast game. Brian, a.k.a. Happiness.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
Flint, a.k.a. Micromanatee.
How's it going, lads?
And y'all know what time it is. Your favorite. The man, the myth, the legend. Boneless Beers Hours podcast coming soon. Taking this whole podcast, putting it on his back, taking it off the top rope. Rodney for 3. Boom. Bryce. Silent Reveries.
Yo.
Man, the whole squad is here. The whole squad. We haven't done a whole squad episode in like 3 or 4 episodes now, honestly.
I mean, we were predicting like 8. We were making jokes about it. So this is awesome.
Yeah. Hey, we made it. We made it for the fans. We did it for the people. Did it for the people. So it's been a while. What have you guys been up to? Like in the past week. I mean, last episode, the amount of feedback we got for Bryce, like carrying this show, man, was pretty great. I think we need to have more boneless episodes, honestly.
No.
I imagine that was not a good morning for you afterwards, Bryce.
Yeah, especially since we recorded on Sunday too.
Yeah.
So it was just like,
Yeah.
it's a good thing I work from home, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No doubt.
Fair play. I mean, I'm down for more drinking episodes.
Absolutely.
I think there's something to be said for having like 2 before recording, getting in a little buzzed, then getting a little crazy. But when you come in where Bryce was like clearly hammered before, then he's like, because there was this transition where Bryce went from drunk at the start of the episode to just like fucking smashed by the end of the episode. Like no items Thanatos drunk.
No items Thanatos. Yeah, I've only heard the first bit. I still got to get on that. The only problem I have to say with what you said is 2 drinks buzzed.
It's me. A half a drink, I'm buzzed.
Yeah, I think, like I said,
Yeah.
Right.
I had started drinking at 10 a.m. because of the World Cup, so it was a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah. Well, why don't we just get right into it a little bit here. Brian, tell me about your week.
So, my week...
It doesn't fucking matter because Godzilla 2 trailer dropped. Oh, shit.
Every time, Brian.
Godzilla 2, King of the Monsters.
Flint was such a good host.
We got Godzilla.
Really give him props for his
We got
hosting
Mothra.
quality.
We got Rodan. And we got King Ghidorah. That's 4 monsters, baby. Woo, I'm pumped. It looks hype.
Where's
Trailer
King
was
Kong
hype.
at? Where's fucking King?
That's
He's up there
coming.
warming up in the corner?
Well, yeah, we'll get to King Kong. Let me
Sitting
tell
on
you. King
Skull
Kong's
Island
coming
with-
after this movie. Yeah, that's right. He's watching. He's going,
the
oh,
Donkey Kong
motherfucker.
shrug, like,
Ooh.
$10 after the Jack Black King Kong movie. Some other studio has the video rights for him.
Yeah, no,
Or is it
Kong
the same
Skull
one?
Island.
Kong Skull
Legendary
Island.
Pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a baller movie, man.
No,
I don't think I
are
ever
those
watched
from the
that.
same studio then? These two? Or
Well, I think New Line Cinema did the Peter Jackson film, and this is Legendary. So they might. I don't know who owns the because all these companies. They're like
Everyone
Paramount
rents it from
Pictures is
Toho,
part
right?
of Sony, which is I don't know. I don't know exactly the story, but I know Legendary is doing these because they're calling it the Legendary Cinematic Universe, the Legendary Monster.
they're going
Universe or something.
cinematic universe now.
Oh,
Well,
yo,
'cause
they're
Kong Skull
swinging for
Island-
Marvel.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Kong Skull Island. Well, didn't you guys? There was a post-credit scene and everything at the end of Kong Skull Island where Godzilla's.
Oh man, I didn't.
It was
sit through
hype.
The first
It was like-
5 minutes of it.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm pumped. I'm just saying the trailer was hype as hell. I didn't see Aquaman trailer. Get that Aquaman shit out of here.
Dude, that was a good
Whoa,
trailer.
Miss me with that.
Those are both
I don't
good
care.
trailers. What do you mean?
Listen. I'm sure the trailer was fine. I just hadn't seen it because I was, Godzilla trailer, man. I'm pumped as hell.
I feel you.
Other than that, my games this week. Well, whammies, let me tell you. I've been hitting that Pokemon Showdown, boys. Let me tell you. I got some games I found on my computer that I had saved because they were funny. And I'm going to upload them to the whammies so the whammies can see. I did a Machamp Sweep Dynamic Punch. Hell yeah. That's how we roll. And that's the only one I can remember off the top of my head.
That's just mean, dude.
100% confusion. Like stab damage choice band. So it's just like boom, boom, boom.
He's got 4
Love
arms.
that shit.
Times.
He's got 4 arms, man. I'm gonna hit you 4 times. Anyway, Brian, for real, tell me how your week was. Honestly, whammy, I didn't do much. Didn't do much of anything this week. I've just been busy with IRL shit. Played a little Pokemon Showdown because I could just jump in a game and play it immediately. Don't even have to load up Steam. Brian, how are your games this week?
So this week, I'm still on the WoW train. Bryce has sent me down the rabbit hole, and I might need the work of like Wowaholics Anonymous in the next couple of months once I finally come to terms with it. But I'm in the middle of a move. I mean, anybody watching the video, like, I apologize now if I'm more echoey than normal. I can hear it echoing myself. I'm hoping my little blue box does some work. But we've been hauling constant. I'm fat, and I don't want to haul everything down the stairs on the moving day. Like, that just sounds like the worst experience of my life. Like, I just can't physically do it. I'm just going to hire a bunch of friends with some pizza, just sit there, just like, trying to breathe, slowly trying to bring in oxygen, wheezing, take a picture and make as a fucking meme of the fat guy out of energy, as they're all doing the work. So we've been moving the house slowly down into the garage for the last 2 weeks. And we had some friends come over yesterday, and we took like the barbecue down, all of the shelves down, pretty much everything I had in this room that I didn't even need in this room. I turned this room into a half storage room to try to absorb echo. Hauled all the couches down, so the living room is now just like a chair and a TV and like a little table for my wife to set stuff in. Like, that's all that's in the living room. As we're getting ready to move in about 6 days. And so my week has been a lot of like, get home from work, been crazy busy at work, and I was playing a lot of catch up from vacation and site visits, and then come home and just like pack and clean till like 9:30, and then play World of Warcraft from like 9:30 till 11 and go to bed. That's been my week. I think the most exciting thing for anybody who's playing WoW, I finally unlocked the Nightborn allied race, so I could finally level 1 up. I've been working on it for a while, pretty much since I got back. And I realized that like I could have had it probably 2 weeks ago. But World of Warcraft is such a weird game where like it changes so rapidly. Like, we talk about like Smite changing because there's a patch every fucking 2 weeks, but like balance changes. But like World of Warcraft every like fucking 4 months has like season level changes sometimes, like whole new zones added and all the new raids and all the new gear, and then they change all kinds of back stuff. Like, the size of a World of Warcraft patch is like the size of like fucking 12 Smite patches. And then when you haven't played for 2 years and there's like a whole fucking expansion's finished. So when you're looking back on guides, there's a lot of like misinformation or a lot of like outdated information. Very rapidly, information on World of Warcraft can outdate. So I was doing all the Suramar quests, which, like, the short answer to anybody who doesn't play WoW, I was doing a quest in a zone called Suramar. When I finished this massive fucking chain, I should basically have it. But the quest chain was locked by, at least originally was locked by your reputation. So I was like, oh, okay, it's locked by rep.
Didn't have the street cred.
Yeah, your street cred.
I didn't have the street cred to continue the quests. So I got to a certain point.
Stab a motherfucker.
I got to a certain point where there was no quests left. And so I went looking online, and the zones that I was missing, I didn't have the reputation to do. So I was like, oh, I'm just rep locked on this. That's all it is. Okay, that's no big deal, right? I'm rep locked. So I'll just grind out the rep slowly. Well, then I found out later that rep locks on this zone were removed like a year ago. So why do I not have any quests? So then I had to track down why I don't have this quest. Oh, I've got a raid quest. I have a quest I have to do in a fucking raid. And I'm like, I'm never going to complete this. And guys are like, oh no, you could just use this automatic grouping thing and you could just choose it for a specific boss you want to do. And I'm like, really? So all of this then just led to me. I'm like, all right, fuck it. So I queued it. I got in the dungeon in about 5 minutes, killed the boss in about 3, and was done this quest that was holding me up for like 2 weeks. So then I was like, okay, well, I've done this, but there's only a couple of left after this for the first quest line, and the second quest line in this zone that I have to complete doesn't give any rep, because that was another fucking guide I read, except no, 6 months ago, they added rep to this quest line. And so if I'd have known I could queue for that raid boss 2 weeks ago, I'd have done it, and I'd have probably been within about 2,000 reputation, which is about a day and a half worth of work, and I would have had it. Like the Nightborn like 2 weeks ago, and it took me like 2 extra weeks because of like old guides and misinformation.
C'est la vie.
So yeah, finding up to date shit in World of Warcraft, like you could see why some of the websites like Icy Veins have like 20 writers on staff just to keep all of their guides up to date. Because like every 6 months, like, oh, like you have to go back and just like fix little things. And I was watching like developer commentary where people were like asking for, man, like Smite talks about like legacy bugs or like when they make changes to certain things. And World of Warcraft's like, yeah, so we like fixed this thing in Legion, which then broke like 12 years and technically like 8 different games worth of content. And then they had to fix all of that, but it works for max characters. So when they did the stat squish, which happened like Tuesday, there was like old bosses that weren't affected by the stat squish, or old monsters that were just like one-shotting people. Like they're trying, like, we need to complete the zone, but for like 48 hours, cracked up my voice like I'm a teenager there. For like 48 hours, it was just one-shotting people in random places.
Damn.
Just like trash mobs, just
That's
can't fight it.
Sasquish. I know, like you're doing the same amount proportionally, but like it's really disheartening to throw your massive 2-handed axe at a fucking like boar and it does like 7 damage. You see a little. You're like,
Yeah.
oh. All right, I hit it. That's good.
They were talking about it though, and it was like, had they not done the stat squish, they've done it twice now, and we were already like, the game was already at the point where people were doing 1 million damage per second, and had they not done the first stat squish, they would be going into the next expansion with players doing something like in the 200 million damage per second.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, yep, they're just squishing it hard.
Bet you 200 million a second feels better than 7 when you use one of your abilities. Just throwing that out there.
Fair.
Feel pretty strong, yeah.
I feel like I
What about
just
you?
missed.
Might as well. The air hit.
Ow.
Flint, how are your games this week?
My game's been fucking sweet, dude. When I've been able to play, I finally took the leap and I got myself a Nintendo Switch. We clean. Went traded in my Wii U at EB Games. They gave me the dick in the trade-in value, but you know that was expected.
What'd you get? What did you actually get for it, if you don't
Okay,
mind?
so 32 gigabyte Wii U, $50. Okay, that sucks.
That's actually pretty good.
I'm
I
surprised.
was expecting
yeah.
like 10. That's
I was
actually
expecting
5
about-
times more than I
yeah.
expected you to get.
Yeah,
I was
it's
expecting
like-
like $10.
Yeah, it's like dealing with Rick Harrison. But it's really disheartening when you see like the
Good
Wii
joke.
U's behind you. Thank you. You see the Wii U's behind you on the shelf, and they're like, "We're selling them for $200. We're gonna give you 50, and then here's some pocket change." Fucking Smash 4, highly sought after Wii U exclusive title, $7. Like, ooh. The GameCube controller
That console,
adapter
man.
wouldn't even take
Yeah.
it. I was like, here, you can have this adapter. I bought it from the store. And the guy was like,
Yeah,
no. He just gave it back to me.
they're not going to sell it. Well,
I just
I
never.
think will the
Ooh.
GameCube adapter work on the Switch? I heard it might.
Yep. Yeah, it will.
So
Absolutely.
there you go. So it's good that you kept it.
Yeah, no, I'll be able to use it for Smash. But I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I wasn't expecting him to say no. I was like, I thought that was the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I bring in like stuff and you take it and give me money to work. Oh, okay, fine. Wind Waker, the guy was like, oh, this will give you a good deal. I'm thinking like, man, I'm going to get over $10. He's like, $4 for this Wind Waker HD. Take that,
Yeah.
dick. And I was like, all right, whatever. So he did all that, and then I got a little bit off the Switch. So I got that in Mario Odyssey, and that game is lovely. Like that when that came out, everyone was gushing about it. I follow a lot of Alpharad and like his channel. for
Alpharad, yep.
2.5 weeks probably was just Mario Odyssey playthrough. This is my first 10 out of 10. Donkey was like giving it rave reviews. I'm thinking, well, it can't be. I never played Mario 64. Like, I didn't grow up with an X64, so I didn't know.
Understandable.
Right? Fucking youngins. Okay.
I didn't even play Sunshine on the GameCube when I had it. It just that game style never interested me. I didn't think that was gonna be fun. But I needed something to play on the Switch instead of just looking at it on my desk going, damn, that looks
Like you did with your Wii U, probably.
yeah. I'm actually playing this though. That's the point. This game is lovely, man.
I know.
You throw the cap and you're the guy now and you're doing stuff. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. You can tell there was a lot of time and love put into this game, and it just shows in this like these little fun gameplay moments, like when you go from 3D to 2D. That's so much fun, and like the transitions are so smooth. I love it. I'm like I've done like 4 bosses thereabouts, about 4 bosses, and so far I haven't had a single bad moment. Like if something bad has happened or I can't get the timing on something, I know it's my fault. I'm not blaming the game, which is usually a good sign of good game design, where you're saying, no, I have to be better. The game is fine.
Yeah.
Well, I trust these mechanics, but the only thing that's weird is the Joy-Cons. I don't know how I feel about those, because you have to hold them in each hand. They give you a controller adapter, but half the controls for throwing the cap don't work.
Right.
If you don't hold them. So you end up having to do it, and I'm sitting in front of my monitor going like, my dad coming downstairs like, what the fuck are you doing right now? But it's lovely. I'm probably gonna pick up Octopath Traveler. That was what I was gonna get originally, because that was another game that was getting rave reviews, and I went to go get it off the shelf, and they had about 6 copies, like of the empty game cases sitting on the shelf at EB Games, and I slammed it down on the counter, and he said, no, we don't have any more of those.
I hate that. That drives me
Why do you have it on the
insane.
shelf?
Yeah.
Why do you
can
hit
sue
my
for
hopes
that
up?
in the States, can't you?
Probably.
Sue for everything in the States.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a Canadian, so this is totally ignorant, but somebody told me a rumor once: if you go to a restaurant and they like, some restaurants will write their menu like on a chalkboard behind them, and if they don't have it, you can sue. So they are like very like keeping on top of the menus and like updating them if there's not something.
In Canada, they
That
would
was a
just
rumor
say,
I heard.
yeah, in Canada,
It was
if
a
that was
rumor.
true, in Canada, the judge would just say, wait, why are you wasting my time? You know, there's a court backlog right
Bryce
now,
might
right?
be like, you're full of shit, but
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Though.
I've never
Canadian
heard
rumors
that.
about America.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never heard that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
There you go.
Can you
Sounds
imagine
like something
being that
DM would
guy
do.
going around looking for, hey, you don't have a chalkboard. I can get some money out of you guys.
Hey, don't talk about my fammy like that, Flint.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shit, I'm sorry, man. I've been playing a lot of Wii U.
What, the white chalky stick, Matt? Is that what you're talking about?
That's exactly right.
Oh, shit.
That's right.
That shit is lovely. And then when I'm not doing that, I've been playing some Icons with Kurt Dude. That game is fun as fuck, although very frustrating because I lose essentially every match when I play with Kurt Dude. I've got one character that I'm good at, and then he just switches to his main, and I'm just sitting there.
And you're like, oh,
Smacked.
I'm on blast. Tilt.
You know, you get tilted because I feel like I should be able to press buttons, but he's juggling me so efficiently that
Better.
I can't. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And I have that voice in the back of the head. It's like, you're just bad. You're just missing inputs. You're just pressing buttons. But most of my brain's like, no. Bullshit. So when I get tilted on that, I've been switching to WoW. I'm enjoying that as
Nice.
well. But it's been a good gaming week. I haven't had to dig. It's nice. I just come home and game.
Any week where you don't have to dig is a good week. I feel it. I feel
yeah.
it.
That's right.
Are you done entirely now, or is it just
No.
like a nice 1 week reprieve?
No. You're never done digging, Brian.
No, you're never
done digging.
Get this. We've filled everything in, and now we're taking another 8 inches out. So we're redigging the soil that we just laid down because we're putting a patio in. And I just stepped away. That's on you. You guys want to do that? I'm staying inside and drinking beer and playing video games on my time off. I've had it. I've had it with the shovels. So lots of good.
All right,
games.
Bryce, fill us in. What's Big Daddy up to?
Nothing really. I didn't really play anything this week. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have anything.
Brian's got nothing. Hey, understandable, man. Understandable. Sometimes it happens. So, fill me in on this one, Brian and Flint. While Bryce was on a drunken rampage, and I wasn't here last episode, y'all wanted to talk about Hi-Rez's newest game, Realm Royale. There was a lot that happened there, but something, from what I understand, things got a little off track. We'll just say that.
They didn't want to talk about it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we didn't want it enough to get Bryce to shut the fuck up for 5 seconds. Yet, I still want to know how you cut your foot. Before we get to how the fuck.
I don't know.
Sitting down.
I don't know how I
You're
cut my foot.
sitting in a chair. There's like, do you have knives under your seat? That was going around on there?
And like I came down here and I was like trying to look on the floor and stuff to see if like, oh, well, if I cut my foot, I must have like been like bleeding somewhere. Or like obviously I was, right? So it didn't get anywhere. My foot didn't hurt in the morning. Like I didn't remember cutting my foot. So
You're just
I
pranking
don't know.
us.
It's a mystery.
It's the only reason you know you cut your foot is because I sent the audio clip of you coming back and being like, I've cut my foot. It's bleeding.
Yeah.
Is that the only reason you know?
Yeah.
Is there a scab or anything on your foot? Like,
No.
oh.
And my wife was. I'm worried about peeking since my audio was so shit last week. My wife was like, told. Apparently, I was. I don't even know. She said, "You came upstairs and told me that I was the boss of that floor." So she's like, kept trying to go back downstairs for whatever reason. And I was like, well, there's a bigger boss down there, so you better not go downstairs. And I was like, oh, okay. Like that legit was like a real thing. Oh, there's a boss downstairs? I'm not going down
can't
there
fight
to fight that one.
Dude, you underleveled, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna badges. I'll fucking train up.
Yeah, dude.
That whole episode, right, especially towards the end, I was so worried that Bryce wasn't going to like be able to hit stop on his recording. Then, but because I was half waiting for like because Bryce would just vanish, and there was once or twice where we just cut the video because we were like mid sentence, mostly telling Bryce a story, and then Bryce just is like 1 sec, and then just walks away, and we're like, what the fuck, dude?
Bryce?
So
Hello?
we stopped and waited for him to come back, then kept talking again. And then, like, towards the end of the episode, Bryce just vanished again. Me and Flint were like, good, we can wrap up this episode. And then I was like, but what if Bryce just, like, doesn't come back? And, like, his
Passes out some
Audacity
ice cream
just
somewhere.
records.
Be bad.
That would be a move I would do.
Now,
Well,
ultimately,
go to
it
bed.
wouldn't have actually mattered because your audio was so bad. Like, on the historic of bad, like, you have set a new bar. Like, quadrupling the worst audio. Like, take all of the bad audio we've ever had, combine it, and then times it by 3, and that was your actual Audacity recording last
That's
week.
funny. That's
So
funny.
had Flint not been recording the video and we just ripped it from that, we probably wouldn't have posted. It was so bad. But
I'm
I was
actually
like,
impressed.
whatever.
I didn't even. I'm like mad that you had that bad. I was impressed. You were so far away from the microphone, yet somehow still peaking. Like I don't.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense, and you were still doing it.
You were so quiet in Discord. We could barely hear you. We cranked you to 200%. You're literally holding the mic at arm's length, talking at it. And you sent me that audio, and everything you said was peaking, and it was just this giant peak streak.
It's this
And we're
big
like-
Black Sabbath sound wave, like.
and then he just like brings it close to his mouth and talks to it normal, and he becomes twice as loud in our ears, and twice as loud in Flint's like rip of it, and it's not peaking.
Man.
What did you do?
That's weird. I don't know.
You need an
Like it's
audio
just
engineer.
completely the reverse.
Okay,
of what it
okay.
should
Look,
have been.
I could talk about drunk Bryce's shenanigans all day in his Audacity recordings, but let's get to what you guys wanted to talk about, because I'm curious about this. Flint, hit me with the details on Realm Royale, Hi-Rez's newest Battle Royale adventure. Hit me with it, because we played it at Worlds, when it was
We did.
just Paladin's characters.
When it was just Makoas running around hooking everyone.
Makoas, yeah, dude.
That shit was
The
fun.
rooster, the chicken was there. The chicken was there and everything. They're clucking fools.
Shit on Bryce. It was great. Did I shit on Bryce?
The 1v1.
Mother-
yeah,
Yeah, the
I did
1v1.
shit on Bryce. Yeah, okay.
Makoa 1v1.
Yeah, and I won.
But
that
it wasn't a
shit.
1v1 at all.
It wasn't. Flint called his whole damn team over.
You called your whole damn team over.
No, it was 1v1.
Listen, just because your teammates
Okay,
had ears,
so-
whatever. Point is,
Flit, hit me up.
Yeah.
What's the details of the Realm Royale Battle Royale? What is this? What is this? Hit me with it.
this mostly just spawned out of me being upset playing this game.
Yeah.
So, right now, Realm Royale is in alpha. So they are going to be making large sweeping changes to the game, which, fine, whatever. However, they also have a test server, similar to Smite. You have the public test server, you have your live client. So you would think, or the logical person would think, who's not in game design, you make big changes in the PTS. If people like it or give you feedback saying it's fine, moves to live. That's not what happens in Realm Royale. Apparently, Realm Royale, all they do is test for bugs in the PTS. So what's been happening is they make crazy balance choices. The first one was removing class weapons from forges. They took that out and they just dropped it in the live client and said, have fun, boys. We're going to test this out with a bigger player base because they have about 100,000 people. Or they did, like, watching on Twitch. So their player base is comparably massive to most alpha games, right? Especially in the Battle Royale subgenre. Like, most developers would be killing for those numbers. So they obviously want to use the live client numbers to test stuff out. The problem comes with how they patch it. So they make these big sweeping balance changes, and they patch it on a Friday afternoon. And everyone's getting off work for the weekend, come play their favorite Battle Royale game, Realm Royale. And then, because most employees understandably have lives on the weekend, they just leave it till Monday. So players are getting upset. They're like, well, I don't want to play this bullshit. The most recent one was a patch adding automatic weapons.
Right.
Previously,
heard
Realm
about
Royale was everything is single shot. There was no burst even. It was just either hit, scan, or projectile, and you're just semi-auto guns, and you're basically just going off your skill. And it was a very measured pace to combat. You know, you had to rely on your abilities more because your guns weren't shooting as quickly to make up for that DPS. So what they did was automatic weapons. Even though Ares had previously said automatic weapons lower skill in the player base, and he was not a fan of them. I guess they just decided to add them. They added an SMG and a assault rifle, but they completely overtuned the damage numbers. So what ends up happening is you have these wildly unbalanced guns where a gray is better than your legendary class weapon. And you have people running around just spraying you and killing you immediately. They also lowered base health on players. So now a full clip of SMG does more than your maximum HP. So I don't even have to hit every shot to kill you. Understandably, some people were upset. And this was patched on a Friday afternoon and left over a weekend again. And people are kind of mad with Hi-Rez's way of handling this game. Because it doesn't seem like they're actually taking feedback from the player base. The only time they've really responded to criticisms of balance is when Ninja tweets out something about Hi-Rez having to relax on their patch cycles. Otherwise, they just ignore everyone.
So you're saying that they're only acknowledging players like Ninja, who their feedback is along the lines of
it's like Ninja, the whole community is like down here. That's what it feels like anyway.
oh shit.
So people are like review bombing it on Steam. People are saying this game's gonna die before it even makes it to beta. Things along that line. And obviously, I don't think it's gonna die. They just started a big $100,000 a week tournament with Keemstar. That's awesome.
I was gonna say Keemstar, yeah.
That's great for Hi-Rez. It's great for Skillshot. But I think
Who's funding that? Is Hi-Rez paying the $100,000 a week?
it's so.
I'm sure they're involved.
I'm sure they're involved. They haven't released how the funding works, which I guess is another sticking point for people who play other Hi-Rez games, because then you always have that line of, well, Smite's paying for Realm Royale tournaments now, or Paladins is playing for it. It's whatever. There's nothing to found that claim, but
Well, it's a what do you call that? Like a fountain that goes down. So
Yeah.
like Smite paid for Paladins paying for Realm Royale. So really,
Realm Royale is going to pay
Smite.
for bot smashers finally, and then we'll have the real esports.
Exactly.
It'll be great. It's going to be good.
exactly.
But that's they never said who's funding it. I would imagine Keemstar has investors that he brings in, I can't imagine he's shelling out money out of his own pocket for these weekly tournaments. That's way too much money.
It's way too much money.
I just that's just so much. And I honestly don't think Hi-Rez is going to be paying for the bulk of that either. I think they have probably investors and there's some kind of advertisement deal.
Well,
in
there's
like 10 weeks, it's greater than like, or in a couple of weeks, it's greater than like the Smite World Championship prize pool. Like,
Yeah, ooh, yeah. You can win one duos tournament with your buddy and make more than a pro makes all year in Smite. How about that? How about that? I bet that stings a little.
Don't
bit.
say that, man. Don't say that.
That stings a little. bit.
Realm Royale, like, I'm not a good Battlegrounds player. I think when Realm Royale came out and all the hype was there, I downloaded it. I played with Flint for like 3 matches, and I went, this is about how I expected my Battle Royale experience to be. I didn't have the patience to like invest into getting better at it. It's like part of the reason I never played Fortnite. I was like, I'm not a good shooter player to begin with. I could get away a little bit with like Overwatch because I found it quite like newbie friendly into like getting into, especially with some of the classes like Reinhardt holding up a shield. I feel useful. Like no matter what I'm doing, I feel useful holding up a shield or healing with Mercy where I don't actually have to aim and hit the person with my own healing shots. Because I'm a horrible first-person shooter player. I've always been. I don't know how I could play Hunter and Smite. And I think that was why I quit playing Hunter and Smite and had more success because I've got fucking horrible aim. I still don't know why I played Hunter for like a year and a half.
Because you came off of League, and in League, don't abilities for the most part or not abilities, but autos hit. Like
autos hit scan, yeah.
Yeah,
or you click. They're like it's not unless you have something that blocks it, it'll hit.
Yeah,
you just have to click on it.
So that's probably why.
And then I also did a thing in League of Legends that allowed my mouse clicks to not even be accurate.
There you go.
So it's like you could do the attack move, and then it'll just shoot the closest target to your mouse. So if I missed the target, it would just shoot the closest target to my mouse because I quite regularly missed even those. I've never been somebody that's known for my aim. And so I was like, okay, so not only do I have to, if I was to play a Battle Royale, do I have to get past my own ineptitude at shooters and then learn the mechanics of a Battle Royale on top of it. I basically just got in. We had like one good match where somehow I got my legendary. We made it to like 30, and then I just like kept dying in like the next 3 or 4 matches. And I went, cool. That's about how I expected my Battle Royale experience to be. I actually got further in the first round, mostly being carried by Flint than I expected, and then just fucking uninstalled it and walked away. I'm like, I'm done.
It's not for everyone. It's understandable, you know?
No. But what is really fascinating about Realm Royale is watching it from the outside, watching the way Hi-Rez is managing it, watching the way the community's responding to things, watching the way that people that were not classically Hi-Rez gamers, you know, that weren't playing Paladins and weren't playing Smite are reacting. And then on top of the reactions from the existing player base, and also having taken a break from Smite, played some other games, watching some cycles, I'm starting to see like Hi-Rez in a different light, I think, than I did in the past. I was often accused of being quite the Hi-Rez kiss-ass because on business senses, I could make sense of certain things, right? It's like, I'm still not going to, as much as I hate chests, I'm not really going to fault them for chests. I'm not going to fault them for many things like that. Even if I don't like it, I can respect certain business choices. I'm not going to get mad where it's like Smite's paying for Realm Royale. It's like, I'm sorry, but literally every other company in the world can like reinvest based on their profits from another game rather than entirely cyclically invest in the same thing.
Well, yeah, that's how
and
companies
it's
work, right?
It's good business practice globally, and like no one is hating on anybody else for investing in projects. Working in oil, we're starting a new, we're looking to investing into a new project. No one from the other projects is mad that money isn't being immediately circled back to their project. Like that's just not a thing. But it is in gaming, which it's kind of weird to me. But it's just been like, honestly, it's been absolutely so fascinating watching this. But
me,
so
it's
just everything about it.
You go ahead, bro. You go ahead.
So yeah, just been watching a ton of that. And so like, what are the things that are fascinating about it? Well, first off, there was the changes to the like the patch cycle that you were talking about, and the way Hi-Rez is managing that whole thing. So I mean, I talked about before back in the VD2 days that I didn't think that Hi-Rez was very good at managing their community and managing their outward like view, like the way people look at them. They're not very good at managing like potential rumors. They're not very good at managing just in general a lot of public opinions or anything like that. I always thought they were horrible at managing their own public image. I said that even back in the Smite days, where it's like, why do you make this change when people are upset about it? You need to make it a little clearer. And watching the way they handled the whole situation with Realm Royale, it's like that just felt like it was tenfold of what it was.
It is, especially because Erez is heading it, but Erez he doesn't communicate through standard channels. So Hi-Rez Stu is extremely active on Twitter. Most people are extremely active on the Reddit. Well, Erez is shadow banned from Reddit. Like, he can't post as himself because he was asking for upvotes back in the global agenda days or the early Smite days or something like that. He barely uses his Twitter. No one uses Facebook or anything. Subscribe to our Facebook page, by the way. And so where people are finding out information on the game is either through the Discord server or through Twitch chat. A lot of information is coming from Erez for Twitch chat, which is really not where I would expect. Channels of communication are kind of fucked up because you have Erez saying major balance points and design points through a Twitch chat, like the official Hi-Rez Twitch chat, while people are watching a stream. It's a weird way to like get information because people are constantly having to screen cap Twitch chat and go, well, Erez said this, so this is the direction Realm Royale is going. And it feels like they're not, I don't want to say they have too much success, because that's kind of a weird thing to say, but it feels like the problems of not handling their community image and the community presence are compounded by the fact that you have so many people playing Realm Royale now, and you have a lot of big players looking at this product and saying, yeah, we'd like to invest in this. We want to do $100,000 weekly tournaments. You know, this could be the next big thing. This is like a more accessible PUBG with abilities, or more accessible Fortnite, whichever one is your preferred thing. And I think they took that in a way where they still want to try and balance things and patch things the way they have with other games. Like, I don't know if you remember Paladins in Alpha, but it's a very different game than what Paladins is now. And it feels like
it's a hugely different game from what it is.
And it feels like they're heading the same direction with Realm Royale, but the difference is with Realm Royale, you have all these big players saying, no, we like the game how it is now, just slow down and fix it incrementally. They don't seem to be wanting to do that necessarily, which I think is where a lot of the rage is coming from. That and improper communication.
Well, I think there's a bunch of different stuff to say with it. So, like, because I was thinking a lot about how they were managing their image and how they're managing it poorly. So, like, one of the big things that I realized, like, and it's made me think back on Smite. Smite does their patch every 2 weeks. We talk to them. They say it's plenty of time to do what they need to. And there was some questionable balance decisions, some gods that came out, like, released way too strong. And they would always say, like, oh, but we'll wait and see. Or it would go in the PTS. And people would, like, provide all this feedback. Like, this is broken in the PTS. Like, this is way too powerful in the PTS. And then you'd give that feedback. And unless there was just, like, this massive, massive community outcry, where then they would do a fix, where that almost spawns the need where, like, the hyperbole of people's reactions to balance changes in Smite, if it wasn't that, like, hyperbole, just huge fucking reaction, these game-breaking things would often come in. There's often times where I'd have to take a break, you know, mid-patch, where it's like, I can't until they fix this 2 weeks from now. And then it made me realize how much Hi-Rez treats the live server like their testing grounds in Smite. There's so many things where they're like, well, we don't get real data until we put it in the live. We're like, okay. And then when Erez was saying about Realm Royale that the PTS is entirely for stability and bugs, it made me then realize that I actually think that, minus there was some balance, but they were always so wait and see with Smite, that I actually think that majority of the PTS was bugs and stability, Which then makes you wonder how many fucking game-breaking bugs did they take out during the PTS when it still comes out as buggy as it is. I've gone back, like, I've gotten to the point where there's so many people that I respect that claim, like, all these bugs that I can't just, it's not nameless person, random idiot, or, Reddit or Facebook user complaining about something I've never seen, where it's like, even though I never experienced it that much, I also didn't put near the amount of hours that some of these people do, that I was like, okay, my rose-colored glasses are a little bit off with them. But so like when they do that, then so they get this game, they get 100,000 people in it, and they then say, hey, I think people are getting their legendary weapons too fast. And even from the 4 matches I'd played, I'd agree. They were getting them too fast. I enjoy watching Battle Royales. I was watching a lot of Shroud play it, and it's like, holy fuck, these people are getting their legendary weapons like super fast, right? This is a decision. This is a statement that makes sense. We need to reduce, like, people are getting legendary weapons too fast, accelerating them to late game status too early, and defeating some of that curve. That sentence made sense even from just a spectator. How are they going to fix it? By letting them drop from random chests and you can no longer craft them. Wait a minute. Like A does not then translate to B. Like, there is a step in logic here that was just gone. It's like they're building it too fast, so we increased the cost to 3 chicken legs and, 2,000 shards. It's still achievable, or 2,000, 200. I was getting 200 shards, and okay, you got to get 3 kills or 2 kills or something, right? More than just the 1. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That statement makes sense. It's fine, but you can no longer craft them, and they're only dropping in legendary chests, and people are landing and getting them. Coupled with the fact that they then added like legendary properties where you can apparently get like pyro or frozen or different things. And apparently the warrior axe, if it had the pyro bonus, was accidentally, instead of tick, so it's like the axe hits for 800, and then the pyro bonus was supposed to tick for like 23 times. And the bug came out where the axe was hitting for 800 and then ticking for 800 3 times.
Yep.
And just one-shotting everybody.
Yep. Yeah, that was.
And I'm like, so you couple that on top of it, and then of course you throw it out on the Friday, so then people are playing with 2,400 damage axe throws all weekend, and like you're very quickly gonna have people lose faith.
Well, yeah, especially when the developers that are present on Twitter saying, no, we want to leave this for the weekend to get data on weapons, and people are saying that's fine. I mean, we're mad, but whatever. But fix the fucking bugs so we can actually play the game. I already had to waste part of my Friday afternoon downloading this thing, right? So it should be at least be in a semi-playable state. I know it's alpha, but shit, you get, like, there's some things you just gotta fix. And to their credit, if it's a really serious bug, they usually have it fixed by Saturday afternoon. So there's like a day where you can't play. It's still frustrating. I think a lot of that rage would go away if they moved their patch like a Tuesday morning. Because who the fuck's playing on Tuesday morning? Everyone's at work. Just do it then.
Well, that's why I like World of Warcraft patches on a Tuesday morning. Like, lots of games patch on a Tuesday morning. Even the Smite patches released on like a Tuesday morning.
Yes.
But then there was other stuff I saw there with the way they talked about it. So, because Realm Royale, like it was hitting like mainstream, right? There was like articles all over the place, all kinds of people that are coming out, names I'd never heard of, and then you click on their Twitter and you're like, oh, you have 300,000 followers and you're a writer for this this website. Like, you're fairly invested in the gaming, media, and you have probably a pretty valid opinion and experience with many different games and developers. And he was also, I think, an Blizzard developer before he went into media or something like that. And he went in and he said, alpha does not mean that you can do everything you want to in balance and just go, but it's an alpha, fuck off. Once you've put it to the public, it is now in the public's control. Doesn't matter if it's beta or alpha, it is now within the public. And now there is expectations of what the game will be like. And so if you make anything too drastic a change, you could run down the route of Paragon, where they said part of the problem with Paragon, I think the whole thing was always in beta, is they changed it so rapidly that when somebody found something they liked in it, they, this is the state of the game that I like, they would then change it. Then somebody new would come in, and so they couldn't keep players because the game was so different all the time. They never hit the one state of the game that got so many people continuously playing, but they never also found a state where they could then just keep the current player base they have happy and grow from there. They never found their identity. They changed their identity 9 times. And when you're in that alpha state, it's like you could run that Paragon route if you change it too fast. People liked it as it was, and now you need to keep going. Or, you build from there within what they like. And for the amount of people that gave feedback for what it was that made the game good. So somebody said literally the best part about this game is the forge, and then the first patch they do is break the forge.
Exactly.
And you're like, are you not paying any attention? Do you not understand your own product? And then people are liking the time to kill of the one-shot rifles and the skill involved in that. Then they put in the fucking machine guns that apparently took longer than it should to patch, and people are still playing with the automatic weapons. And many of the streamers that were talking about potentially switching to it, I think Shroud is still staying with it, and Keemstar is hosting the tournaments. But many people that were so excited for Realm Royale, 2 patches was all it took to then send Ninja back to Fortnite. It was 2 patches to send. I'm trying to think of other big name streamers that were playing Realm Royale. They all went back to their other games. It came in, and 1 or 2 changes are they've ruined it. They've lost entire faith in the company and they left. And you're like, man, you shouldn't be patting yourself on the back at the number of players you still have playing. You should be going, what the fuck did we do that all these people have left already? This should be a failure within the office. You had the most explosive start that a game could ever want. And then people were then just nope, you fucked it up. You should be having huge meetings to how did we fuck this up? Because no matter what anybody will say, when all of a sudden those people that fast dropped it, and after all the love they gave it and all the praise and all the potential they gave it, and they're just no. It's you've got a huge PR mistake. A huge mistake with how you managed your community and your company image, in my opinion. And it's truly fascinating to kind of watch. It's we've got friends from high res and stuff, and it's I want to see them succeed. I want to see the company as a whole succeed. But it's when you hear some of it and you're the automatic weapons doing that much more damage than nobody in the company could, I could do math in my head. You're firing how many bullets per second and how much damage per second?
Yeah. And just really?
And that's how much more than if the bow's shooting for 1,000 damage and it takes 1.5 seconds to draw and fire, but then you're shooting a machine gun that does 300 damage a bullet and 6 of them a second, you're how does nobody figure that out and then go, well, guys, it's alpha?
That's that's what upsets me, is when people say it's alpha. That doesn't mean the game can't be good. You know what I mean? It has to be fun. It was one thing where they said, well, we need data. We need to know if this is a good idea or not. We need to know if adding automatic weapons is a good idea. There are some things you can look at, like Brian's saying, just do the math in your head and go, that's probably not a good idea. Probably shouldn't send it on this particular instance. But then they do, and you get upset, and you have this legion of people that are, I think, in the same kind of rose-colored glasses situation where they're going, well, no, it's alpha, they're going to make big sweeping changes. I don't care if they make big sweeping changes and they completely change the identity of the game. What I care about is that it's a balanced, fun experience regardless. And there are going to be changes that people aren't going to like. People were still mad with the Forge changes, with the increased chicken leg count, because they liked the feeling of killing one guy and getting a class weapon. Because you feel powerful, right? It's almost like a shortcut to get the most OP weapon in the game. That doesn't mean it's good for the long-term health, so I'm okay with big sweeping changes. I don't agree with how their patch cycle operates and how they use the test server. Especially because after the Forge changes, there was this big outcry of saying, we told you this sucked in the PTS, we told you this sucked in the live servers, and you still took a couple days to patch it. What the fuck? And you had Hi-Res 2 coming out. Hi-Rez Dry Bear coming out, Hi-Rez Nash, they're all saying, hey, if you want to get in and tell us stuff earlier, please join the PTS. And everyone was linking instructions, how to join the PTS. And this is before Ares came out and said what they're actually using the PTS for. So everyone thought, oh, so if I join the test server like you want, and let's assume they get 10% of players to join, that's like 10,000 people in your fucking test server. And you still just want to use it for bugs? There's clearly a disconnect there with player frustration and understanding how that's going to work. I don't get it personally, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't invest anything in that game. They've already got monetization in it, which I figured was going to happen pretty quickly because it's a high-res game, and that's how they make their money on free to play stuff. But I'm just glad as much fun as I had with it, I don't play it really anymore, and I'm kind of glad I don't, because it's be another cycle of frustration.
Meanwhile, in Smite, you get gems to play on PTS.
Yeah, exactly. We'll pay you to fucking come on here, please.
Please test the game.
Please, God.
Well, I've sat on both sides of the fence with it's alpha. You can make all these changes, and now is the time to test. I get that they can't, Smite, if you have 10 people, you can internally test Smite. I get that you need 100 people to internally test Realm Royale. But there's certain parts of the Realm Royale that you can still have people fight. You can spawn them, give the weapons, have them fight, see how the different weapons feel. There's still things you can test out. There's still no excuse for the machine guns coming out as powerful as they did. I don't care if you need 100 people to test it. Somebody failed at the math. That's just, there's no fucking excuse for that. It's I'm on both sides of the fence. It's alpha, my opinion was entirely I considered alpha a living PTS. I did, until I saw that, I can't remember his name, the guy I was saying that was a developer, and he was giving this feedback from a respected company that said, no, once you put it out to the public, you now need to treat your alpha like a live client, like a live released game. Fortnite's still technically in beta. I don't think they've actually officially released, have they?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think they might still be beta, or at least that portion of it's still beta. Maybe they've technically made an official release, but
they're on season 5 now. They do seasons differently than high-res games, though.
A lot of games are going from the yearly seasons now into the
quarterlies,
3-month seasons and stuff. Hearthstone's on season 15 in 4 years. But I don't know, just a lot of that with the way they managed it, I was just kind of blown away and thought it was rather poor. And I get it when people say it. It's when you have 100,000 people enjoying your game and playing it, then you break it, and then 80,000 of them leave. You haven't had them invested long enough to stay. And you've also got those competitors you have to compete against. And then that whole thing also then made me question, I defended Smite's patch cycle. I even asked Pon about it, and I scoffed at people that made fun of it, because I was oh, maybe they are getting enough data in 3 days. But now after seeing the Realm Royale stuff, it makes me question if they were actually doing very much balance, or if they were kind of looking at it roughly, and unless something was just fucking horribly broken, they were just letting it go through. Meanwhile, you see every YouTuber, because as much as and this is almost a second tangent, as much as I don't like when people are you need to some streamers seem to think that their opinion is worth way more than it is. But at the same time, you do also have to respect the fact that your streamers and YouTubers are the most public face of your game. They're practically unpaid employees at this point. Everything they say carries more weight sometimes than what you say. There's more people that watch a Mythimoo video than there is often that watch the patch notes. So if Mythimoo says something about it, he's now having a larger influence than even your own company is having. Big streamers have massive influence. You can see the effects of one particular streamer's effect throughout the whole community in the Smite. There's certain toxicity that has definitely spread, and opinions and falsehoods that have spread from one personality. And so sometimes I hate when I see streamers way overvalue how important they are. They almost hold certain things hostage. It's almost like the Yelp reviewer, walking in and threatening a low Yelp score to a restaurant. But at the same time, if you don't manage those opinions of those people, I wouldn't say cater to them, but give them something they can get behind, or something that, like, if you put something out that they all unanimously fucking hate and they're going to denounce you for it, you fucked up. You've now got the most vocal people or the most influential people for your game saying you fucked up. It's no longer as fun. And those very same influential people are why you had 100,000 people playing in the first place.
Yeah, so just to give you an idea on Steam charts here, I was just pulling it up, interested. Their all-time peak was 104,500 players. That's fucking amazing. And that was like opening weekend too.
For an alpha? Fuck
For
yeah.
alpha? Holy fuck. Now, on Steam, their 24-hour peak is 13,000. So, that's a bit of a drop. And last month, before the automatic weapons patch, their average players was 32,000. That's more than a 50% drop. If I'm doing.
So they dropped by like down to a third. I mean, there was always the initial hype. I'd expect, you could almost expect to keep. I'd almost like to see what the numbers were like before and after the Forge change. Because there was also, don't forget, a lot of people from the other high-res games that have then been holding some like resentment to, existing bugs in Smite that have made it too long, balance changes that just don't make any sense and then they're fixed. I think I held too much. Don't worry, it'll get fixed in 2 weeks in too high a regard until Uller sat for like 8 months. Although I know I defended Uller in certain ways too, where I can understand the data choices, but I think it also does come down to, if you've got 30 people denouncing you for not nerfing Uller, and that's actually affecting your image, there needs to be a point where it doesn't matter what statistics are. You have to manage your public image. But, yeah. So they're at a 10th. They had this huge start, and they're at a 10th.
And you know what?
And now they have to play catch up.
Yeah. Well, now people are saying, because they just had a patch this Friday, and it was a nice patch, apparently. There was nice small changes, a lot of bug fixes, and the changes they made to the gameplay made sense in a balance standpoint. There was no big sweeping changes. There was nothing new added. It was just, we're going to fix what we have right now. Maybe they're finally seeing, hey, we can't just keep wiping the board and putting new shit on. But it's almost too late in the sense that you've lost, you're down to a 10th of what you had before. You've lost so many players. You were going to lose a lot because, I mean, Ninja was playing it. So once he stops playing it, you're going to lose probably, I would say, about 30,000 people. But could have kept a lot more if they had just slowed down their patch cycle. Unfortunate. As a player, I was rather upset, but gotta move on.
Yeah, it was definitely something to watch, for sure.
I hope,
and like it's possible it could go and make a splash. Like, Hi-Rez makes fun games. They manage other parts of it poorly, in my opinion.
Dude, they made bot
mostly
smashers.
in the PR side. Yeah,
Bot smasher.
Right, so
mostly
when
in
that
the
comes
PR
out,
side, I think they're terrible. But
It's never coming.
we haven't. You know what I noticed too? Their Hand of the Gods, like, they did the official release, and then they made like 2 more Twitter posts, and now Adonis is part of the Realm Royale team.
Yeah,
Like, have they just walked away from Hand of the Gods as well?
they had like a well, if you remember at Worlds, they had a little side alcove.
A tournament, yeah.
You could play the tournament, but it was really kind of, it was sad. But I felt like Bot Smashers had more real estate than fucking Hand of the Gods, and that was supposed to be like their big release. It was just this little hallway, and you could go into an open bracket tournament. I think like 20 or 40 people signed up. Well, Bot Smashers was outperforming. It still hasn't been released. Hi-Rez, what the fuck? Still, you can still sign up.
There's
for it,
definitely some questionable decisions. As much as I was a defender before, there's definitely some stuff that the rose-colored glasses have come off, and I've gone, that's kind of weird. I wasn't just like loving, I wasn't in the mode of like loving Smite and just like, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yep. You know what? Drybear was the head of Bot Smashers. He's over in Realm Royale as well. Fortunate.
Well, you know what one of the biggest eye-openers for me was? And again, I keep referring back to these patches because that was the big one. I used to complain that like League of Legends patches were every like 3 months, right? And so then when you had a change, sometimes it took a bit to be hot fixed and you could have some stupidly broken shit for a while. But not to the same way that Smite sometimes is just like every 2 weeks there's just something new that's fucked. But the thing is like when a patch in League of Legends, take a shot, they release the patch on Tuesday and the PTR starts Wednesday for the next patch. And there was stuff that would sit in those patches for like 4 patches. Because I used to, like when I was playing League, you know, there was like weekly changes to the PTR. And there was websites that were like updating every change before it came out. And then you drop the patch and like 80% of what was in the PTR was there. Because there was like 20% of stuff they were still testing. For like a year. They were testing like this change on this champion. But it never went to live because the data never worked, and they tweak it and they change it, and it'd sit there for a year before like Lucian's 1 got a damage bonus because they just could not find a spot that sat well in the PTR. And Lucian in particular, because he was my favorite character, and I was like, "Come on, give me the fucking bonus damage, you motherfuckers!" And it just sat there for like 3 patches before they finally did it. And so like, I got to give some credit to that, or I come to World of Warcraft and BFA has been in beta or like in PTS since like February, and it releases in August. Like,
yeah, that's insane.
They have their PTS for like 6+ months, and they're practically within like a week of the last patch dropping. The next PTS is up for the next stuff they're looking at. Well, maybe not within a week, but like you often have, their patches are often, their big patches are often like every 4 months, and you'll have like 2 straight months of testing. Now, mind you, there's a fuck ton of stuff in a World of Warcraft patch, so there's
they
a
changed
lot more stuff they can get.
Not just two or 4 maps. It's a big change, but still, it would be nice to have something in that
test
open
realms
iris
for so long, and you go, wait a minute. You know, and then when you look at Smites and it's like 2 weeks, and you're like, then they have a 3-day PTS over a weekend, and then just launch it on Tuesday, and you're like, and then all you see on Twitter is this was noted in PTS, 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 and you're like, I mean, it wasn't breaking my game that often, but at the same time, you're like, okay, now that I've stepped away, that's fucked.
Well, a lot of
yeah,
the bugs
and you can only defend that for how long? Like, how many patches in a row come out fucked up before you got to be like, okay, all right.
Yeah, this is some QA needs to be done here. I mean, how many times were we playing and a bug was happening and you go, okay, well, you just got to deal with that. Like, I don't know if you guys were playing when there was the lock-in sound never stopped. Every time someone locked in a god, it was like bing, 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 until like the
I saw
lobby
videos
fucking
of it. Yeah.
Oh, and people were just like, no, you just got to deal with that. Why do I have to deal with that as a player? Why should I?
Yeah.
What's the purpose?
I never got those in game though. The only bug I ever got was like the super long, how long did it take after the arena match ended before you got into like at the defeat screen or the victory screen for just like 2 minutes. That was like the only bug I ever really personally experienced, but my gameplay was always so on and off. I'd play 5 matches in a week. I wasn't, professional streamer that plays all the time and is going to find bugs like daily. Right? Yeah. So like I kind of get that. And you're right. Like, plus 2, I didn't get like that invested until the podcast, right? Where I got like really into it. Then because of the podcast, I got extra invested into it and really started paying more attention to that stuff. When I was just a casual player, and I imagine many casual players are like that, where they're like, doesn't even stick in my memory bank unless it's like all the time. Like one-off bugs, like I never paid any attention to.
I remember there being bugs in Smite, but same way. It didn't stick with me because usually got patched out. I know a big sticking one was ranked because the voice chat doesn't work correctly, and it still doesn't.
It's never worked correctly.
It's never worked. So
then everybody knows that, and the way Hi-Res responds is that it's working fine. No, it's not. It's never worked fine.
Say, you have to send us your entire PC in the mail so we can read these data logs to find out what's broken. You're like, come on, man. Just let me fucking use comms. And that seems to be kind of the similar idea. I mean, I don't want to get like personally salty, but I remember the force change popped and I tweeted out to one of the developers, hey, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense on the Realm Royale side. And, you know, why are you releasing this over a weekend right away to live? Because the force change didn't even go through PTS, I don't think. They just dropped it in the live server and said, have fun over the weekend.
Yeah, I think I remember that. The developer like responded with some wise ass fucking comment.
Yeah, you
right?
fucking meme me.
Yeah.
I was asking a serious question.
Yeah.
Hey, why are you just dropping this in live, but now instead of making the change immediately, you're now letting it sit over a weekend? And instead of saying, well, we want more data, he just started trying to meme me. He was like, well, it's like Skynet. It's taking over the server. Like, fuck you. Get in there and fix it.
Yeah.
Stop memeing me on Twitter.
Like from his perspective, he probably just thinks like,
fuck this guy.
oh, you're not genuinely asking me. You're just like another random dude on Twitter who thinks that they're a developer too and know how to do things.
No, I understand. You know, employees have lives. You can't expect them to fucking slave over the weekend on shit. But maybe don't release it on a weekend. And if you're going to release it directly to live, be prepared to make quick changes on the fly if people aren't happy. Instead of just using your fucking coding fingers to meme me on Twitter. I don't know. That's probably like, there's no way he was just like, who the fuck's this guy memeing me, telling me to fix my game? I'm just going to snark.
Yeah.
It's understandable. I probably would have done the same thing. But it's rough when they have that lack of communication on top of how they're patching things and how they're handling the test servers. I want Realm Royale to succeed.
Right.
I genuinely do. I think it has a lot of potential. It's a very fun game. Hi-Rez has always, like Ryan's saying, made mechanically interesting and fun games. They've always taken a genre and turned it on its head or added some new mechanic that makes it exciting. They got to fix how they patch the fucking game, and they got to fix how they're doing these changes, because it's hard. It's hard to like. I'm glad that's not my main game. I'd be pretty upset if I couldn't play on Friday afternoons and I was dealing with crazy balance.
I mean,
I heard too they had a. Sorry, go ahead, Bryce.
I was just gonna say, like, imagine how European people probably feel as well. Like that is like their Friday. The patches takes their whole night.
Yep. How mad. And then the game's fucking busted because they just drop it right in live and there's like T-posing, crazy bugs everywhere. The game's unbalanced. It's like, fuck. I just want to fucking drop my buddies. Can't do it.
Well, when you don't have people invested in yet, too, like when you do that early, it's like, you know, you're not invested enough yet. Like as World of Warcraft, you know, I'm playing World of Warcraft now, but like Smite before. Right? It's like there's a certain period for players like me where it's like I'm always looking for that game that is my long game right now. And you know, it was WoW, or it was like Conquer way back in the day, you know, and then it was League of Legends, and then Smite, and now I'm back on WoW. And it's like there's a certain point where you're like, I'm done with this game. And I'm going to go on to the next one now. And I'm probably going to life that game for the next 2 years. There's players like me that do that. And if they were like, I'm kind of sick of building in Fortnite, and then they're wanting to check out Realm Royale, and that shit happens right away, they're just like, I can't play Realm Royale, or this is just bullshit. Like, you all of a sudden, you've lost that locked player. You can have shit go crazy in Smite. You know, we are the fucking example, or at least before I burnt out, where it was like, well, okay, shit's bad, but like I'm so invested in this game, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
But
I've
if they're
spent
not
so much money on gems, I'm bankrupt. Hi-Rez, please.
But if you're that far, you know, they're not that invested. Like you're week in, they're just like, oh, fuck it. I've played lots of games where it's like, this game's really good, and then like a week in, and I'm like, this kind of annoys me, and boom, it's lost that lock. And I'll never touch it again. It happens all the time. Play it for a day, play it for a weekend. It didn't lock me. World of Warcraft did it 3 times in the past between the last time I seriously played and now, and I'm actually worried about myself right now. But
At least you're aware of it. You're not like denying it. No, it's fine. I was only in Azure off for 18 hours this week. It's okay. I'm fine.
It's okay. Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine. It's fine.
Just a couple more hours. And I'm fine.
We'll see what happens when I'm done with the move. The last time I picked up World of Warcraft, my life was, I was working for this company, and I was also like living out of town, and I was like so busy with so many things, and I was in this very similar state to where I'm at right now, and I was just like, I just don't have the power to like want to play something like Smite. And then I just vegged on WoW. And then all of a sudden my life kind of calmed down and everything went back to normal. And I was like, fuck this, I'm out. It's like that could happen in the next like 2 weeks. But we'll see.
So I got a dumb Reddit thing that I need to share right
go
now.
for it.
Drop it on us, buddy.
All I'm going to do is read the title. That's all it takes. Does higher elo equal higher damage plus reduced damage received on Xbox? So this guy thinks if you have higher elo, you do more damage.
I mean, like, yeah, but not because of the elo. Oh.
Is this for Realm Royale?
No, this is Smite.
Oh.
Oh,
You know,
That
Spice,
physically hurt.
I've definitely, if in 2 weeks, if I get past that like crazy life point where WoW is just like relaxing because everything's crazy, you've definitely confirmed that I'm not going back to Smite.
just
I mean, our
screenshot
Smite's
this
not
and
the
send
best
it to you.
advertisement for fucking Smite, let me tell you. Oh. Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, it's rough.
Can you do higher
it's
damage?
rough.
More damage reduction? Yeah, probably. Fuck, might as well. Maybe that's the bold new direction Hi-Res is going in. Higher elo, the better you are.
I'm
You're
trying not to
trying
be
to
offensive, so
stay-
I'm just not going to say anything about this guy.
Whoever you are,
Hey,
know that you brought
you
me
try to
some
come up with
laughter.
those new
And you know what? When he typed it, he probably firmly believed that getting higher elo means more damage. There's only one time in my life where that was actually a thing. and
What's
that was WoW
worse
Arena.
is he says this is just a general observation over the past few years from myself and a buddy I always group with. So there's another person. He's got another person that thinks the same thing.
The past few years. How do you not know after years of playing that that's not how that shit works? How do you play a game for that long?
This
Just not
guy-
understand basic mechanics. Like, oh no.
This guy does not take any damage. His elo must be high as fuck.
Dude, this guy's got fucking 90k damage mitigated. He's got to be like masters. This is ridiculous. Holy shit.
Oh shit.
That level of stupidity actually stresses me out.
You know what?
Because you know he's at like voting age.
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing. It's people like that make fucking game devs snarky. Fucking game dev reads that and
Exactly.
like,
Like
everyone's
the
an
response
idiot.
to you.
Everyone's stupid as fuck. Like, what do you... That's how you get snark on every platform. It's like, nah, you guys think higher elo means you get fucking less damage dealt to you. Like, come on.
If
yeah.
you're somehow a whammy that posted that, we're sorry we're insulting you, but we're also not sorry
not
because
sorry.
what
Holy
the
shit.
fuck?
Come on now. That's like
It's
one
gotta
of
be a
those
troll.
things where
Like, is he actually legitimately like feels like that?
Yeah. Like it's
Like, this
he
isn't
has
troll.
no troll, and he's responding to some of the people who are like, no. Let's see if I can find something quick here. That's just.
I bet you he has like screenshots or something of somebody with a higher elo doing more damage, or I bet you he's definitely got like a slew of great, fantastic, unrefutable anecdotal evidence too.
Mhm.
Or in his mind, like, well, then how do you explain this? Oh, God.
if the earth is flat, or sorry, the earth is round, explain this. Oh no, dude.
Okay. Wow, that was
Fuck,
well. I think
that's-
that wraps up.
Yeah, I can't find anything good looking through it. But he's
That's-
like people are saying no, and he's responding to them with like
actual points.
real shit about why he thinks that. Yeah.
That's not good. That's I'm gonna.
I mean, that's
no
the
for
same
me.
as like I've won 5 games, so the system's clearly trying to put me in a guaranteed loss. The system is trying to force me to have 50-50, and they are like certain on this. And it's like, look. When I'm angry, I'll spout, this fucking thing is rigged, right? I get it. But like, I don't go post on Reddit and actually believe that horse shit.
Don't actually believe it. Just let it out.
Actually, that's not to be the WoW gush guy, and maybe in the future, the add to the drinking game is every time Brian is gushing about WoW right now, if you want to
Already
die
started that.
anyway. But
I feel
I was
bad.
going
I'm
to
sorry
talk
I
about
did
it in
this.
games this week, about like why I'm enjoying it so much more. And I've realized like, second shot, Brian confessional, whatever, as Matt will always say.
Brian dunks on everyone he's ever met in his life.
Well, no, so like the whole time we were doing VD2, and I would say when I get mad in Smite, it doesn't affect the real world. It doesn't affect how I feel in other ways and whatever, right? It's like I get mad, I have an outburst, I leave. And now that I haven't been playing Smite and just PvP in general, even when I was playing Brawlhalla, I was getting mad at the fucking people in ranked. And then all of a sudden I've just been playing a PvE game and just like watching Netflix and just hanging out in the Hangout channel and in the whammies. I've noticed outside of the game an increase in calm. I'm not yelling in traffic as much anymore. In general, my blood pressure is just down not playing PvP games, which means which makes me a little worried about when Soul Calibur comes out, because like even if a counselor told me not to do it, I'm going to fucking play it. But I've found it really surprising how much I've noticed just even outside of the game, I'm way calmer now that I've quit Smite.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I believe it. I think
My wife has commented on it.
you stopped playing Smite, haven't you, Brian?
You've been so much calmer.
Well, I mean, shit. Like, competition is good for people, but I think it gets to a point where eventually you just getting angry at everything. And it's just gonna hurt your.
Apparently. I mean, I've been playing PvP games for like 7 years, and I was like, no, like, I leave and I'm not mad about it, but then there'd be days where I had like shit games on a Wednesday and Thursday, like, fuck, I'm still mad. Fucking bullshit. And then it's like, why am I so, like, whatever? And then you're playing, and then maybe I had outside other stresses, and maybe it's just a sign of other things, that despite the fact that I'm busy as fuck because of the move, I'm, like, so happy to be moving. But just, like, everything in my life just seems calmer and easier since I quit Smite, which probably indicates some other mental health issues. But, you know, I'm full of
Fucking
those.
Zen Brian.
Send help. No, this isn't. Don't worry, it's not some emergency.
I think the
cry for
WoW
help or
community
anything.
overall is also a lot more chill. I don't know about raids and battlegrounds. I haven't got there yet, but just like the people.
I mean,
meet
I've
while
been
I'm
in a
questing
raid
are
where
just
it's like,
hey, man.
or I've been in Dungeon Finder where it's like, you know, the average DPS if you're at like max gear and you're like, you come in with a low level or like a lower geared character into a heroic dungeon that like you guys will mow through, and you're doing like 20% less. And I've seen tanks just stop tanking to chew you out for doing like 20% less DPS, even though you're succeeding. However, that toxicity is like a fraction as regular. Like yesterday, I queued a heroic to do for like my daily quest. And because BFA is coming out, a lot of people are getting back, trying to get, you know, ready for BFA. A lot of people are unlocking Nightborn and the Tauren race like I was doing, like just getting ready for it to come out. And there was a guy that was just like, there was 4 people in a 5-person dungeon that hadn't played in like 6+ 2 years. I think one guy hadn't played in like 6 years. And we're all running around this dungeon and nobody knows where we're going. And we actually go in wrong directions, and we ended up doing this dungeon in about 8 or 9 times as long as it should take. Like, it took forever.
get the fucking
calmest
GPS going
people
on
ever.
that one.
Tank's like, I'm so lost. And people are like, I have no idea where we're going either. And we're looking at the map and we're splitting up and we're finding and I see the boss and we're like communicating. It's like the friendliest bunch of people. And I was like, man, like
That's nice,
if
dude.
you had somebody, if your tank in Smite was incompetent or it didn't know what he was doing and said, I don't know what I'm doing, please help me. Or I don't know where to go on the Conquest map. Please help me.
These guys are doing
How
a lot
well
of
would
damage.
that
They're
go?
a higher elo than me. Fuck, help.
Yeah, there's a also like you get an achievement and shit because you get a mount if you kill the other factions like leaders. I don't exactly know what they're called. Like
Yeah. The king or the war chief or
yeah. So like all the 110s are like flying their mounts like, you know, we're Horde, so they're flying into Stormwind and all that other shit. And like the dudes in the guild, they're like, who wants to come? Who wants to come? And I'm like level 30, 40, but I'll come. So they're
I'll
like,
still
all right,
send it."
cool. I'll still send it. So
Send it.
I'm riding, like, I can't fly yet, so I'm riding on this level 110's two-person mount, and we're flying, like, above Stormwind, but I'm level 30, so I'm getting fucking one-shot smoked by random guards and shit walking around Stormwind. So, there's probably, like, from the gate of from like the gate of Stormwind to where the actual boss is you have to kill, I probably died 100 times. And this dude,
at that point you're running
just-
around in red gear.
yeah, like red gear. And then finally, like every time I died, the dude had to res me. And there's 4 bosses. So this happened in 4 different fucking cities. And the whole time I'm like, if I was this guy, I would never do this. And I kept like thinking, I'm like, thanks, dude. Like, if you just want to go on ahead, it's all good. I'll understand. And he's just like, no, man, it's totally cool. Don't worry. And I'm like, oh, if you say so.
I'm not used to it. I'm not used to the kindness
Yeah.
of the World of Warcraft community. This is great. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
A lot of people could be really good. I think when you get to like 110, and then you get into like raids, rather than toxicity, you actually can get drama. I remember like way back when I played in Wrath of the Lich King, and like I remember getting so stressed out about the drama because I was getting so annoyed at his name was Coathanger and he was a prick. But he somehow, not to get too whatever about the drama of the past, but we were a casual raiding guild, but we had intelligent people, which, you know, World of Warcraft can really show you that some people are not that intelligent. Like somebody can have 500 or 50 more fucking item score than you and somehow do less damage. And you're like, how do you not know how to play this game? Or when people just stand in the fire and you're like, how do you not know how to not stand in fire? Right.
Move
But
4
we
feet
had
to
this
the left.
group that just moved 5 feet to the left.
You
And
clean.
yeah. And back in the day, but we had this guild that actually had like intelligent people. And so we were raiding, and all of a sudden we were like completing stuff that we realistically shouldn't because we actually had intelligent people. And then we got this new raid leader in there, and he saw the potential of the people, and then he got real pissy about like, because like the guild was started to be casual. We were going to do some casual raids. We were going to do some 10-mans. And this guy saw the smart, like the good people, and somehow convinced the guild leader to create like an elite. Like it was literally called elite in the guild, and give these people this rank of elite raider. And then he would take all of the elite raiders with the guild's original policy, because we started to grow quite big, because we were starting to get kind of a little bit known for like completing stuff but being casual friendly. And the raid leader or the guild leader's initial policy was to take all of the elite members and spread them out. Take the other people, and that was kind of like the atmosphere, that really friendly, like, you know, we've got this really good tank, he'll take these newbies through and gear them up and just give them a good time, and we'll all have out and big happy family. And this guy was like, no. All of a sudden he wanted to turn the casual guild into this super duper fucking elite guild. and he just put all these fucking people up to elite. But he didn't like me because I called him a couple of names. Even though I was the top DPS in the entire guild, he wouldn't give me the elite rank, and he wouldn't take me in the dungeons because he hated me. And other people were like, you should take Brian. He does the most damage, and he's one of the best raiders we have in our guild. But because I called him a bunch of words I won't say on the podcast, I wasn't allowed to go in.
Brian used the curse words. I want to know what they were. What were they?
Don't forget, I was still talking to my mother at that time. I had a lot of anger.
Oh, okay. Hey, shit. Unreformed.
And,
Brian.
yeah. And, yeah, that was just, I just remember it. And I remember being like, what the fuck? Like, the whole guild, he split it into two. And actually, eventually, the guild fell apart. And that was why I quit playing World of Warcraft the first time. And he actually went and started the most successful raid guild in the server. And made it from our casual people. And they were actually like the server first Horde side guild for a long while after that. And it all stemmed from the people that started in our just like super casual guild that was up to like 3 or 4 runs of Naxxramas, taking our best players into different groups and so that we could spread the knowledge.
Yeah.
But he was just like, he was the kind of person like kicking people out in what was supposed to be kind of a family felt kind of guild. But anyway, that was
I've
been with my wife for 9 years, so that was like 9 years ago. World of Warcraft's been around a long time.
It's nuts.
Should we get to this community challenge?
I think so.
I mean, yeah, it's a good time. An hour and a half is about the time we go to the community challenge. We're doing good.
Yeah, we had a full topic, lots of discussion. What is this? Is this SideQuest Arcade? Do we do it? Are we there?
Everybody taking
Oh,
a shot for
shit.
Brian taking about WoW is plastered and having a great time right now.
Shit. Dude, they're cosplaying Bryce. It's fucking great.
So if anybody's noticed, Matt isn't talking much. Something came up; he had to go. So
Sorry, he
I don't
already
think he's
did
coming
the
back.
intro.
We
so-
almost had a 4-man podcast.
It was a 4.5.
Almost had a
or
4
3.5
minute.
man.
I'm hoping that he didn't leave Audacity running so that he could stop it. Otherwise, we have to video rip again. But I can't edit this week, so good luck, Flint. Or Bryce. Bryce. Okay, so of all
Good
the
luck,
drunken
Flint.
things you said,
Good luck, Flint.
Hey, you're fucking editing this
Of
week.
all the
Fuck you.
drunken
You
things
said,
you said.
I got it on tape.
Good luck,
you
Flint.
fucker. I saw it.
because last week you were like, "I'm gonna join Brian's group," and then I Facebooked you after. And you were like, "Shit, I said that about D&D. Give me a minute. I'm gonna think on that." You also said, "Don't worry, guys. I am definitely editing next week."
I think you're making this up.
I think I can find that clip in about fucking 45 seconds there, bud. Have fun with
I don't
the audio
remember
this
if he
week,
said
buddy.
that. I don't
Good
remember
luck,
if he
Flint.
said that during the recording or not.
Yeah, he did. 'Cause
Whammies hit us
No, we
up
cut
if
it. We
Bryce
would've cut
said
it.
that.
We would have cut it, probably, if he said it.
I think you said it I think you said it after. You're like, "I am 100% gonna edit next week."
I
counts.
must have said
That counts.
not.
That counts.
edit.
You're editing this week. Get fucked. I'll still do the video, buddy. Don't worry. But you're on audio duty. That's how it be. You know?
I mean, you know, Bryce,
sounds like
we-
we're using the ripped
Of the
audio
9
anyway.
statements you made,
I
that's
wouldn't.
the only one we're holding you to.
Dude, I'm liking like it's Xbox Live days. We ain't using this fucking video audio
shit.
this week. Anyway. Anyway, the community challenge this week, Brian, you made it up. You wanna tell us what the fucking challenge was this week? Hit us up.
I think it was inspired by Bryce. And
That's-
it was. What is your favorite game to play drunk? And then when I posted it, I was like, why don't we just say, what's your favorite drinking game? Because you know what? After Bryce's whole drunken rant about, not playing games and us reminding that this isn't a gaming podcast, this is a podcast by friends who are all gamers. So we're going to keep some open topics, I think, for the future that can just be anything. Gaming, probably mostly gaming. Media, culture related, life related, if you're willing to share stories. So anyway, that's for the future. So that was this one. And we'll have to cherry pick a bit in this because the Whammies definitely had a conversation throughout some of it.
Absolutely. Well,
So-
we can filter through. It's totally fine.
Let's see, what's the first one that comes up?
Yeah, I accidentally scrolled up to the WoW hack stories and hold on, that's not it.
No, that was what immediately beneath. So Kyle says, best game to play drunk. I don't drink, but I would have to say Speedrunners, Lethal League, or Cards Against Humanity.
Hey, I think we need to play some speedrunners. Actually, I've been looking at that one. That's a good 4-man game for us. Like $10 on Steam.
What
Yeah, I
is
never heard
Speedrunners?
of that.
So it's like a racing
Can
game.
we, can
but
we
you're all
revive
superheroes.
Boneless Beers reviews with that one?
Yeah. So it's like you're all like superheroes, so you all have different powers, and it's basically like you got to race through a map, and it's you can use your different movement powers to get around, but you can also fuck the other players. So like you can collide into them and kick them and stuff like that, if I remember right. But they're all like goofy ass characters. I think there's like one really fat guy that's like making fun of Spider-Man. He like swings around the grappling hook and shit. Sends it.
Is this on Steam?
It's on Steam.
Oh fuck
yeah.
yeah.
This sounds like the next Boneless Beers reviews, but so far getting 4 people together has been rather difficult.
Hey, you know what? We can practice. Well, I'll fucking practice up. Whoever's missing gets fucked. They just get speed ran, and that's how it is. That game does look fun though, for sure.
Nevea says any game can be a drinking game if you just believe in yourself.
That is words to live by.
Absolute truth. I'll tell a drinking game story when it's mine.
Dragunner says best/most lethal drinking game is to drink whenever Bryce disses Flint.
That
Oh,
would be
shit.
a good game. Oh shit, that'd be a good one.
Dude,
I'm down for that.
You guys be plastered.
I feel like we need to update the drinking game. Who made the first one? I forget. I think he's a whammy that's still around. Pretty confident it's a whammy that's still around.
I think Fro made it.
No, it
Pretty
wasn't
sure.
Fro. It's so buried deep in my phone, it'll be hard to find.
Is
but-
it in Discord or is it in the Twitch? The Twitch server is still up, eh? Like I was looking through that the other day. I was like, hey, how's it going, guys?
I don't remember. I think it was posted in Discord.
It's got to be Discord because. All right, whoever's whammies, if you're still listening to this and you remember what the VD2 drinking game was, hit us up with it. I think it was Fro, but you seem pretty confident that it wasn't. So, but if it was,
It needs to be updated for SQA, the SQA drinking game.
6 shots.
And then I
if
feel
pull out
like
my broadsword.
Boneless Beers reviews take a recommended episode by the whammies and play the SQA drinking game, the 4 of us.
Oh no!
That might not be good.
Oh, I get plastered. I feel it. If I got nothing better to do, hell yeah, let's do it.
Sunday.
Wait, shh.
May says, while I wouldn't say best drinking game, when my cousins and I play apples to apples, the worst answer of the round has to do a shot. That's a good way to do it. So you're like, this person wins the point, this person takes a shot.
That's
Which
pretty
actually
good.
then that makes it rough for those sessions, because we've all played apples to apples or Cards Against Humanity when you've got to throw away a card. And you're like, I don't know, nothing works, just throw it. Like, get rid of it. And now you're like, God, I can't just get rid of it out of my hand on a situation that doesn't matter because I'm going to have to unless you want to get drunk, I guess.
Well, that's the goal, but you want to get less drunk than everyone else who's getting plastered, so you can laugh at them. That's the real big brain plays when you play those fucking kind of party games.
All right.
The only one I don't
I
like
then
playing is
followed up
King's
in-
Cup.
Oh,
Fuck
go ahead.
that.
King's Cup was gross.
I haven't
wanna-
played that in a long time.
Everybody has different rules for King's Cup too, right? Like the only rule that actually goes the same. Like I've heard people try to argue official rules, and I haven't played it since I was like 19, which is legal drinking age in BC, so I wasn't underage. And
18 and
I have not touched
Send
it. Yeah, it's 18 in Alberta. But so I played it when I was 19, and like people were just like making shit up. They're like, and when a 5 comes up, you do this. And when an 8 comes up, you do this. And then I've read online that it's just like, it mostly had to do with just flipping cards till a king came up or something. And I've heard, but at 19 had to drink. I had to drink the King's Cup once.
It doesn't matter who's making the rules or whatever. You just end up with a fucking mason jar full of sludge and disappointment in the middle of the table. And someone's got to drink it, and no one wants to do it. So it's the least fun game because like whoever gets it's like, no, I can't drink that, and then you have to fucking like convince them Like, oh, gonna make fun of you the rest of the night if you don't. And then they drink and puke. Okay, well, I knew that was gonna happen. This is not that fun.
There is, and I'm not going to give hints on how to find it, but from my 19th birthday, the last time I searched for it, I found it because I know the name of the YouTube channel of my buddy. But there is actually videos, maybe it's my 20th birthday. I think there's still videos on YouTube of me drunk in a shed on my 20th birthday after playing King's Cup.
Oh, shit.
Or like a modified version. And like, I'm sitting there, I still had braces on, which you wouldn't know I had braces, how fucked my teeth are, but there's a whole different story. They wanted like 120 grand to try to fix my mouth. And I was like, fuck.
Oh, thanks, bud.
No thanks. And like, I'm sitting in a chair. I'm unshaven now, but like when I was 20, I would just grow. Like I was always like, I'm going to grow a beard like Bryce's. And then I'd get to like a certain length and I'd just look homeless. And I realized my hair doesn't grow nicely on my face. And then I'd finally shave it. So there's a hairy Brian with braces sitting in a chair ranting about how Grayson stole my shoe. And there's 2 or 3 clips on YouTube on my buddy's Facebook or on his YouTube channel. Still there. I've gone out and found them for a laugh, or Dustin sent them to me once. And I was like, if you could find them, they've got like 20 views, but good luck on that scavenger hunt.
About to have fucking 200. I'll watch it on repeat. Just wait. Hey man, we all
somebody
have
will find it.
Old YouTube embarrassments. I got my old channel still fucking kicking around somewhere, and it's got some shit on it.
It wasn't my channel, it was his. I didn't even know he was filming it until he sent it to me after.
Like, you fucker.
Yeah,
probably half hungover, just like, oh no.
I was 20 and like I would complain about a hangover, right? Because I didn't drink much, and I was like, oh, because I always drink the sugary drinks. Oh, I'm so hungover. I didn't truly understand what a hangover was until like 2 years ago. I didn't. And I still haven't had the vomiting profusely hangover yet. I've just had the I can't move and everything hurts, but like 100 times worse than I complain about when I was 20.
Big brain is to puke before you go to sleep, so then you hangover. Personally, but that's only in dire circumstances. Otherwise, you just fucking nut up and take it.
All right. Back to Whammy's reading. So I then asked them if they had any special rules or if it's always just like drink whoever loses. So Nevaeh says basically drink whoever had the worst score in like Jackbox, which if we remember our Boneless Beers reviews, I would have been plastered because I lost everything. Then Kurt Dude says mount your friends. Cards Against Humanity, Smash Brothers, Jenga, Uno, Monopoly, anything really. Get some guys that can hang out and take insults. Anything is a great time.
Mount Your Friends does not sound like a game I want to play.
I was actually going to suggest that for Boneless Beers reviews. It's a very strange Steam game with the world's best dick physics.
It? Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. Let's get the dicks out.
Dicks out to mount your friends. Absolutely. Everyone's in Speedos. It's a good time. Oiled up. Let's go.
Oh, shit.
Now you gotta.
Zulatos says, my friends and I have a really outlandish sense of humor, so I find Cards Against Humanity our game of choice in real life. If we are playing, it's typically Drunken Diablo, Mario Party, Town of Salem, or Smite. So nobody's building items if you're playing Smite. And you're doing it right.
Or like drinking with you guys playing Smite and forgetting to buy boots on Fafnir match of the day and Trevor roasting me for a good fucking 20 minutes. No boots Fafnir over here. Like, relax, man. I didn't need it. I was 0-20 anyway. It was fine.
Dizzy says group masturbation.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Dizzy. I didn't see that you put that in there, but now I'm rethinking things. I don't know.
All right. Aiden, our resident 12-year-old, says, my favorite drinking game is Pin the Tail on the Donkey. Whoever gets the tail the closest to the spot, the donkey gets to drink a tall glass of apple juice.
12. Immediately got 12. I un-12 and re-12 just so he he would see that happen. Let you know.
There's a moment here where I didn't realize that CAH was Cards Against Humanity. Then we get to Danny Boy. He says, when football season comes along, we play a lot of bags, and loser takes a shot of beer. Other than that, we play a lot of board games like Jenga, Monopoly, Cards Against Humanity, Pie Face, or whatever it's called, and the loser takes a drink, or we make up random rules like if you roll doubles, that's a shot, or chug some beer. Plus, nothing beats some good old beer pong. Also, we are very 420 friendly, so sometimes we replace beer with dabs or bong hits. Other than that, we play quick games of NBA or FIFA or Madden, make it short timers, and loser drinks. We have literally set up multiple TVs so we can all play at the same time. So you're doing a drunk LAN party, which is epic.
I assume bags is like cornhole.
I was going to ask you, Bryce. It sounded like a football thing, and like sports.
Yeah, I assume it's cornhole because you can play like in the parking lot and shit. But
what's fucking cornhole? Because I haven't played that one before.
Cornhole, there's like a board on each side, a hole in the middle, and you throw bags onto the board, or you try to get it in the hole. You get it in the hole, it's 3 points. You get it on the board, it's 1 point.
Good shit. All right.
It's a lot of fun.
All right. So before we jump to the next one, Bryce, what's your favorite drinking game?
Probably the one I've played the most, Cards Against Humanity. I love Cards Against Humanity. It just like, I don't know, never gets old to me either. So,
some of that a dream hack. Let's fucking play some Ka.
I know, I was trying, dude. Then we got kicked out of the fucking lobby.
Dude, it's a different hotel. This time it'll be fine. They'll actually have like an area that's not a fucking cavern, so people can hang out and drink past like noon. Fucking midnight. Drink past noon too. Let's be real. Fuck. I like that hotel, but they need to work on that. That was fucking.
Yeah.
That was
Keep
silly.
the bar open longer.
All right. Flint, do you want to start off then with Full Metal Benji? I'm sure I've talked enough this episode.
All right. Yeah, for sure. Full Metal Benji says the greatest drinking game ever created is Ring of Fire. Flame emoji. Some say it was created by ancient balding monks in medieval England, and after their archpriest was slain and their monastery was sacked, being left only with a deck of filthy playing cards, a bunch of gin, and the severed head of Father Brian. Oh, Brian, I'm sorry. Didn't know that was that was your D&D backstory. Unfortunate.
You know.
But those are just tales.
It's how I played my Headless Horseman.
And the true seekers among us know that the monks thought gin was super gross. The rules of the game are complex yet simple. You'll need one session to be a master, as the weak will die. A cup is placed in the center of a ring of cards. It's empty at first, but as the game goes on and a king is pulled, each combatant bequeaths a small amount of liquid into his or her choice of beverage unto the cup. Like the foreshadowing of an anime villain, it stands silent and sinister. Guy's going out. He's right. He's fucking J.R.R. Tolkien.
Oh, this is good right here.
I love it.
Right?
All right. The game starts with the shortest or youngest player drawing a card from the unholy ring, and then the next player in turn proceeding clockwise. When the unfortunate soul draws a card, they must read the number or state which court card they have drawn. Each card has a different rule, but the game gets more interesting when the jack is drawn. This is when thine shit doth get real, as the player who draws it gets to add a new rule for its entirety. Those who break the rule drink and face the rule's punishment. Many other cards have equally devastating rules, such as quick fire, truth, or dare when the queen is pulled. Finally, as the last king to be pulled from the circular horror forces the player, by blood oath, to drink from the cup at the center. Any left standing win the day, or at least their lunch. That is the fucking most epic description for, like, King's Cup I've ever heard in my life. Goddamn. Full Metal Benji, you get ultimate whammy status this week. Congratulations. I salute you. Shit doth get real. I like it.
That's a good one, dude.
I wasn't expecting it, but I'm glad that you wrote it down.
Might have to start using that one.
Yo, Dine, I gotta remember that for World to be like, Dine Shith dot get real, dude. It's time. That's gonna be like on day 2 of the fucking bender. Georgia. Nevaeh's super down with that, as I think all of us are. Sloth
Yep,
Turtle
that
comes
was
in, says
fantastic.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Full Metal Benji. Appreciate it. Sloth Turtle says, well, the 2 games I enjoy and having some of the spicy water. Hey, hold on. You can't call fucking alcohol spicy water. We're not some deep fried meme shit, Sloth Turtle. Would be the Halo LAN parties with my buds, playing the card game Dominion most Thursdays for the past year and a half. Oh, I respect the LAN parties.
I
Dominion's
guess
a good one.
Asshole's another game I've played a lot while drinking.
Asshole.
I mean, I feel like a lot of them have the same general sets of rules as King's Cup, because I think we also called one of our drinking games Asshole as well. And it was basically just different cards, different rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, the end result is the same, which is you send it, and that's the most important part.
Yeah.
How you send it is irrelevant, but it's like flavor points.
All right. I think that's most of the ones there for the community challenge.
There's one more
Flint,
with
you got any?
Kyle. There's one more with Kyle. I'm gonna read it out real quick. It
Oh,
says,
yeah.
Not specifically a drunk game, but one that I think would be fun to play while drunk would be Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards. Duel at Mount Skull's Fire. Fuck. It's a card game where you create your own spells to beat your opponents. Yo, I'm making a spell. Bryce has to drink every time I breathe. Get fucked. I'll win the game. How about that?
How about I make you stop breathing then, fuckface?
Oh shit.
How about that? Ooh,
Dude, this goes off the rails real quick.
you're dead. You're dead.
no.
It's over.
It's all over. Dude, make a spell where I have gills so I can breathe underwater. Fool. Clean. Oh, see movement. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I think that's pretty much all of them. My favorite drinking game. Let's see. I had something and I totally forgot. I've been fucking sidelined. Matt!
What's up?
Oh, shit.
going?
It's Matt.
Be back. Hello.
Just in time to tell us your community challenge before we wrap up.
Hell yeah, dude.
Are you still recording? Did you just leave it?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so now everybody will hear us. Hey, it's Matt.
Nothing.
Community
almost-
challenge.
You should have almost crawled in and just like hit record and then just hello.
What's your favorite drinking game?
Oh, sociables. I don't know if anyone ever said that.
No one's
No,
ever heard of it.
what's that?
Explain.
What's that?
How do you play sociables? Is
Okay,
it like a card
so-
game or something?
Yeah, it's a card game. So everyone is a card, and then you assign certain things with cards. Like kings is guys, all the guys drink. Queens is all the girls. Ace is sociables. Everyone takes a drink, but then you assign different rules. It's a pretty fun game. The rules differ. You know, people play it. Like I've played it with some people, and they have different rules for it. But if you, sorry, I'm a little distraught. It'll be like fours. One person is it, and if they make eye contact with you, then you have to take a drink. So everyone looks away from that person, and till the next person gets a 4. It's a really fun game, really enjoyable.
I don't think we call it sociables over here, but definitely played that game. It's
Okay.
a fucking good time. It's a good time.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you've
It's a
seen
fun
different
game with
regions'
lots of
names.
people. With lots of people, it's fun, like a good amount, and
Yeah.
So
Wait,
we
like-
call it sociables.
My favorite rule is 6 is dicks, which just made me giggle every time.
Yeah, 6 is dicks. Yeah, I've heard that rule as well.
I don't really have a favorite drinking game. Like I'll play most card games, Cards Against Humanity, shit like that. I was
Yeah.
gonna more tell like a story of like the worst drinking game I ever played, because I thought that was kind of fun.
Do it. Yep.
This was back. Not that I'm. We'll say I was overage for this particular story. I was clean. I was clean by Ontario standards. Anyway, we decided that we were gonna get drunk watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy all at once. And there was a drinking game. It was like you go through the tropes of the movie, and then obviously you end up drinking a lot. However, Lord of the Rings is like That's like 15 hours of drinking. Some ridiculous number like that. And we didn't have our alcohol tolerance up, so probably by about midway through the 2 towers, we were feeling it. We also didn't have access to a lot of... We were at someone's house, and because of the way the house was set up, we were locked out from the kitchen, so all we had was bread, raspberries, and straight vodka. And that was it. So we put like raspberries in the vodka cups, and like the raspberry would soak up the vodka, so every time you bite a raspberry, it was like a little fucking liquor explosion in your mouth. It was horrible. People were puking by the end of the night.
Sounds horrible, to be honest.
No one knew down from up, and I think that's part of the reason why I've never watched Lord of the Rings again after that, because it just leaves that bad taste in my mouth of like... I remember almost dying. Because all I could eat was bread to try and combat how fucking plastered I was. And we had to wait, because it was it was bread in a freezer. We had to wait for it to thaw out. So we had it out from like the start of the first movie. We couldn't eat it until like the third movie when everyone was just staggering. It was pretty rough. But if I had to pick, I'd probably play something like Sociables or Cards Against Humanity. Something, not King's Cup. Anything but King's Cup, and I'm clean.
I just pulled up the rules for Sociables. I don't know if you want to hear them.
Nah, we'll skip past for now.
Yeah.
We might play them later, though.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I'll do mine, and then we'll issue next week, so I think we'll wrap up.
Sure.
So we took a lot of those games, like Assholes and King's Cup and all of them, the different rules for different cards. And we then just applied them to Crazy Eights. So as you play the cards for Crazy Eights. So rather than every card having a rule, there was like 5 or 6 cards that had a rule, which is still like half the fucking deck. And so we would just play what we called Drinking Crazy Eights, which was just like my own custom creation. And I remember the first time we ever played it, where we were just kind of making up the rules as we go. Simple rules, like they become social rules, like Matt said, like with the eye contact thing. Or we made a rule where it's like you can't say a person's name, so then we all just started referring to each other by our World of Warcraft names. But I remember that night in particular, the first time we ever played Drinking Crazy Eights, because the whole plan was to make like one of those vodka melons where you just like let the vodka soak into the melon for whatever. And the guy that was supposed to make it didn't realize you're supposed to let it sit for like, it's a long fucking time, like a week or 2. And he tried making the fucking vodka melon like 4 hours before the drinking party, thinking it would all just soak right in immediately. So like that didn't work, which was fine by me. I fucking hate watermelon. But so we got there, and so with all the vodka he bought and to put in the vodka melon.
Let's back that up a quick fucking second. You don't like watermelon? I about had a fucking stroke. Back that up.
He did. I'm like, what is going on over there?
How do you hate watermelon?
There's something like, you ever heard about how when like people eat cilantro, it tastes like soap? Like for some people, that's just like a genetic thing. They can't eat cilantro because it tastes like soap.
Then we started.
Well, I have that genetic thing where if I eat cilantro, it tastes like soap. And there's something about watermelon and cucumber that when I taste watermelon and cucumber, it tastes like floor cleaner. Like it tastes like what floor cleaner smells like to me. There's just something chemical about it. It does not taste like, because I know so many people that like watermelon is the greatest thing in the world to them. I got a friend that will buy a watermelon, cut it in half, and then just spoon it out until that fucking thing is empty.
Yeah, Yulia does that.
I can't. Optimal. It tastes like fucking cleaner to me. It tastes like cleaner. So I can't eat it.
All right.
I mean, imagine, go take a bottle of like Lysol from your cupboard to spray it in your mouth 2 or 3 times. That's about what fucking watermelon tastes like to me.
Probably not going to do that, but I'll let it slide.
I really wouldn't recommend it.
It just threw me. It just threw me. I'm sorry. I was, damn.
Yeah, don't like watermelon. I actually don't know if it's a medical thing, but it's the worst for me. Anyway, So we got going, and so since he couldn't make the vodka melon, we were told him just to make fucking, punch. Right. Just go mix some punch and whatever. And so we're all drinking this punch, and it's just like fucking from concentrate shit, right? And we're all drinking it. I was like 2 or 3 cups in, and it didn't taste very strong. Didn't taste strong at all. And we're all like couple in playing this card game. And eventually somebody says to my buddy Julian, he's like, Julian, how much fucking what was your water to vodka ratio in this from concentrate punch? Because this is the weakest shit I've ever tasted. And Julian just looks at him, he's like, water? And we realized that he just took like from concentrate frozen juice and just like 2 bottles of vodka. And that was it. That was the punch. And just stirred it together. There was no water in this, but because there was no like, you couldn't, like, you know, when you put like vodka in with juice, you can like taste it. But because there was no water, you didn't have any water to dilute the taste of the from concentrate. And so the from concentrate actually way overpowered the taste of the vodka. And it tasted like regular fruit punch.
But
there was so much fruit punch. There was so much fruit punch. We thought that he actually put the water in. We didn't think there was enough vodka to fill that giant fucking bowl. and like there was like a snap of a finger where it almost says a weird thing about like understanding how much you have drank that informs how drunk you are. Because the party went from, we're kind of not really getting a buzz. Did you remember to put vodka in there? And Julian was like, I didn't even put water in there. To then everybody being like, oh my God. I have drank so much right now.
When it hits
and it was within like 10 minutes, people were like vomiting in the rose bushes. And like, it just hit everybody right then. We then continued to drink. A bunch of people passed out. I woke up. They were nice. They didn't marker my face, but I woke up with marker all over my legs.
Right.
And 2 of the guys just like woke up back at their house. Like I think it was like an hour and a half walk back to their house. And we have no idea how they got home. They did not drive. I picked them up from their house to bring them to this party we were all going to drink at.
Right.
And then we all just woke up and they were gone. And then we called them and they woke up and were like, Jordan, where are you? Where did you go? Like, we're all worried about you. We went to sleep and you were here, and we wake up and you were gone. And Jordan goes, what? He's so hungover because he drank like 6 cups of that punch. And like when I say cups, I'm saying like cups of fucking punch, like huge cups of punch, not little teacups, like fucking giant mugs of like a pint each, right? And somehow he got home. Him and Greg got all the way back home. For probably an hour's long walk to get there.
When you drink, you just tap into fucking reserves of strength you didn't think you had. You can walk an hour and a half, no problem. It's the next morning you wake up, you go, oh wait, maybe I shouldn't have done that. That's it, man.
I have no idea how. I'm assuming they walked. I'm glad they didn't like die, but yeah, that was like. I'll just always remember everybody was like, I'm not even buzzed. And then we all realized how much we've drank. And within like 10 minutes,
there's always that
we're
moment.
all plastered. Like just like beyond like, you know, Bryce last week levels drunk. But none of us were behaving like that because none of us thought we were drinking that much because it didn't taste like alcohol. And so we were all acting fairly normal, waiting for the buzz to kick in, chugging this fucking no water fruit punch. So the card game was whatever, but you know, it caused us to drink a lot of fruit punch.
So what do we got for next week's challenge?
All right, so I was thinking back to a challenge we did a while ago, which was like, what game do you still periodically pick up for nostalgic purposes? And then of course the conversation we were having earlier before we were recording about millennials and nostalgia and how I don't get it necessarily, but I do have a little bit of nostalgia sometimes. So what thing did you love as a child? We can do gaming or non-gaming if you don't have a gaming version. Like what game, what movie, what book did you absolutely fucking love as a kid? Maybe even young adult, right? Because maybe we don't all remember Thomas the Tank Engine that well, right? But what thing did you remember that you're so nostalgic about that you then went and picked up and you're just like, oh shit, this didn't hold up. I've made a mistake. I should have left it in my memory banks as this perfect, flawless thing, because now I'm exposed to how shit it actually was. What is that for you?
Thomas the Dank Engine.
I love that Biggie Smalls rap with fucking Thomas beat on it.
Yeah, dude.
That's the best. It's better than the original.
Absolutely.
Oh. All right. Well, I think that's
All right, let's shut down the arcade, Matt.
I mean, I feel awkward leaving and then coming back to shut it down, but
Do it.
Well,
we'll shut her down, boys. All
Things
right.
happen.
you're the
Thank you.
manager with the keys.
Oh, I guess so, man. Thank you so much for checking out SideQuest Arcade. You can follow us on Twitter is it just SideQuest Arcade? That's the
Yes.
official tweet. Yeah, I just want to make sure. Make sure you hit us up there. We got some. You can catch memes like me seeing a fat ass crow and seeing my relationship crumble. You can see that on Twitter. You can also.
Fire.
I'm gonna be. There's lots of Godzilla shit going on right now. By the way, that trailer watched 6 million times in under 24 hours. It's still growing up. So.
Oh yeah. Hell
Godzilla 2, baby. Hype is real. Yeah, you can follow me at Matt YT. You can follow Flint at Micro Manatee. You can follow Brian at SQA_happiness?
Yes, eventually
Yes.
you'll remember, but yes.
It's tough because for a year and a bit I was saying the other one. So make sure you guys put in that underscore. Brian's very particular about that. But of course,
He is.
if you want to follow Bryce, that is
Mhm.
underscore silent reveries, and y'all don't even want to know. Like, you put the underscore on that one. Like, God forbid you forget.
I'm not
That's it.
particular about it.
He's very particular about
Extremely
that.
I mean, you could go to the Twitter page without the underscore if you want
No,
to.
you couldn't
But-
tweet at him though. Anyway, you also got a Discord. Check out the whammies. We got new people joining, probably like pretty frequently, I'd say. And once in a while, someone comes in and people join in, and we've got lots of different things to talk about. And you don't have to be a Smite player. There's lots of people who play Smite. We play lots of different games. We talk about other games coming up. You can join lots of discussion. It's a good time. Our Discord is actually pretty. It's fun to go. You check it out and you see it's pretty fun to go see. Also, like, I don't know if you guys did it, but we like to give us. Did you guys shout out Trelly?
We forgot.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Just a real special shout out. We do have shirts on for sale. They got the logo on them and it's cool. And hey, if it's cool enough for Trelly Relly posting that shit on his Twitter, I mean, come
What
on.
a god.
Yeah,
Charlie is
Much love to Trelly. Yo, fuck
a
Joust.
beast.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys
Fuck
get
Joust.
a pic with your fucking SQA shirt on, send it to us. We're gonna retweet it, shout you guys out. We love seeing that stuff. Hell
That's
yeah,
right.
we love seeing
That's
that.
right.
Love it, yeah.
Decked out.
Absolutely.
in
We're all
SQA
about
shit.
community here. So with all that being said, just have a good night. Call your parents. Make sure that they're okay. Love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right.